Mid lane bans here. LeBlanc don't really mind it too much from Copenhagen Wolves when Pepinero played such a good LeBlanc yesterday and in the past as well. They also banned it yesterday against H2K and Rio, so seems to be a ban or a champion Soren doesn't play or want to play against. But a lot of mid lane bans, and Ringa as well been taken away from Airwax here. Not a champion we've seen him play very often. No, definitely not, and definitely not a champion that is particularly popular amongst European junglers. Frederick and Airwax, we'll see what they're going to be locking in a moment. Rek'Sai almost made it through. Rek'Sai taken off the table is the last ban. Gnar up, Lissandra up. Janna would be an option, but let's see what gets Rydell most likely wants Thresh over the Janna pick here. Or he could just first pick the Thresh. It really is his #1 champion, but taking that and leaving against stuff like Gnar open for Youngbuck on the side of Copenhagen was a champion where he actually went 0-4 in the game yesterday, but still came back in team fights and had a massive impact. A little bit risky here, especially because Janna would most likely been the go-to support for Copenhagen Wolves anyway if they wanted it, or the Annie pick for Unlimited if they wanted some engage, and not the Thresh, because Unlimited, he never really played it. So I don't really see why you would first pick it from Giants. Options available. Gnar worked for Youngbuck eventually yesterday. Lee Sin for Airwax, he's wants it here with three jungle bans, sorry. Get the last of the top tier junglers for yourself. Sivir will also be an option if you want that high mobility. Of course, we have seen Freeze play a lot of different AD carries, but Xerath and Gnar coming in, so showing your solo laners very early on here from Copenhagen Wolves. And blind picking Xerath into Pepinero, who's so good at playing assassins. That is a bit of a risky one. He can go for an Ahri here, play fairly safe up to level 6, and then try and go for the all-in kills on Airwax, so a bit of a risky pick from Copenhagen Wolves. Well, we'll see if the risk pays off. Over to Giants, using their time once again. You can see the coach in the background, that is Lozark, helping the team out, making some decisions. Again, we're seeing a slower pace in the picks and bans. Again, we're seeing that huge priority on Thresh. Oh, Timo Mordekaiser, who do you want? Frederick Red, we don't talk hovers and we don't talk those hovers. Yesterday, Frederick played Elise. It was second pick. They also highlighted Graves as an important one. They know what their solo lanes are. So maybe Giants want to buy some more time before they lock in the counters. This time, however, they're going to go with the Graves again. Yeah, so Werleap, he's going to do the same on Jax, where he starts the Raptor camp at level 1, and he gets instant level 2 or close to it, recalls, buy a few extra potions, then teleport to the top lane, and kind of overcomes this tough early laning phase where Gnar can just poke him out, and gives him a small advantage, at least to get some more CS. Will still be a lane in favor of Youngbuck. But honestly, yesterday when they played Jax and Rydell in the interview after, he said, we just want to camp for Werleap and make sure he gets ahead on this Jax. It might be the same tactic. Youngbuck, he saw it yesterday. He should be ready for it today if he gets camped once again, because he knows that Jax wants to get ahead. Let's see if Youngbuck can make better use of his vision this time round, because he was punished multiple times thanks to lack of wards. Copenhagen Wolves' bottom lane was that Annie, you've already mentioned, Deficio, as well as Draven, with about 1 million stacks. Freeze was unable to cash in on the Draven passive. Hecarim. We're going to decide in a second or two what they decide to lock in. Remember that Lee Sin is still available, but they want Hecarim over the Blind Monk. So that's why they didn't pick this in earlier here, because Hecarim was the go-to champion. Was buffed here in 5.1, of course. Less mana cost on the Q, and you heal more from your W early on as well. So quite some good buffs for his jungle. And a few more cool things like Chilling Smite now, where you steal movement speed from the enemy champion. Actually gives you more damage on Hecarim due to his passive as well. So quite a funny pick, and the first time we get to see it here in 5.1. Well, this is a terrifying front line already. Gnar, Hecarim, and Braum, and you add all of their CC damage and utility to the mix. Freeze should, in theory, have a lot of time to do damage, as should Soren. But let's see what Giants decide. I want to see Sivir from Freeze. I want to see Sivir from Freeze here. You have the movement speed then for the Hecarim. Again, you use it to make it easier for Soren on his Xerath to position himself as well in fights. And you have all that hard engage coming in from the Copenhagen Wolves. Braum as well into a Graves. If you get in front of him and block his ult and his box shot, suddenly he has barely any damage left in a team fight. A lot of pressure on Unlimited to use that Unbreakable of his. Severe. We did see the Ahri locked in for Pepinero, so we were anticipating that versus Xerath, and I personally love the Vi pick to ensure you can get past
Nah, Braum, Hecarim, and lock down either Soren or Freeze. Let's see which AD carry gets locked in, but Giants comp is all about the single target elimination.
Yeah, but again, Giants comp here relies on them being able to flank on Copenhagen Wolves. You cannot run headfirst into a Braum, into a Hecarim, and of course the poke coming from a Xerath. So they have to be able to come around Copenhagen Wolves, surprise them a little bit, land the charm, or set up an easy engage for Frederick on this Vi here. Otherwise, he's just going to get blown up as soon as he goes into the fight, and the rest of his team won't be able to follow. But it was the Ahri we talked about against Xerath, a matchup we've seen quite a lot.
This was banned yesterday.
Is he actually going to pull it out?
Oh, 2 seconds on the clock.
It is a strong lane with Braum.
Kalista, and it is.
Wow.
Initiation galore. And Kalista's going to be able to lob a Braum at their opponents. And we have a new champion here for Freeze. He played Draven yesterday. Going to pull out the Kalista today. Keep in mind that Kalista did have those small changes in 5.1. The passive from your Sentinel, slightly longer to activate it and get that damage down. And it actually hits really hard if you can sync up.
Yes, if you can sync it up here. So Braum, Kalista lane, we have seen a few times, not in the LCS, but in other competitive games. And it's actually a fairly strong laning phase, because as long as you get that cube from Braum and you get the stun up, you have so much time to build up Rend stacks, to do a lot of burst, and at the same time for team fights, use it, take the Braum, throw him into the enemy team, he pops his ulti, and suddenly you just catch an Ahri or a Graves.
So this game is going to be all about the vision. You want Giants to have wards down to allow them to flank, and you need to have the Copenhagen Wolves have wards down to ensure they don't get flanked. I don't really know why. I'm not sure where that was going, but it worked out. The coaches, of course, we did see them leaving the stage. Interesting picks and bans phase here for the Copenhagen Wolves. They played fairly standard yesterday.
It is a little bit risky, though, getting a Kalista into a Vi and Ahri. If you get caught, you die instantly. Like, there's no way for you to escape anything there. And it's not like there's insane amount of appeal from Copenhagen Wolves. It's more them wanting to engage.
Well, there's the team comps on your screen. Hit us up on Twitter, guys, at LOL Esports, hashtag GIA win, or hashtag CW win. The power pony is in the hands of the Wolves along with Kalista. She's going to be looking to throw some soul-bound teammates around. And we'll see how she can make that one work out, and double-checking if she's actually used that in the opening stages. It's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. Unlimited has been hit with that soulbound, and there's the gates in action as well. 5.1.
First time we actually see the gate be useful.
Useful.
He's running out of the base. A lot of new picks here. The Vi, of course, coming in for Frederick. It's not a champion we see too often. And of course, Kalista and Hecarim coming in for Copenhagen Wolves. So much engaged on their side. And again, Giants, it's going to be all about them creating picks and being able to flank around with Vi and Ahri to kind of kill at least one member from the Wolves before the fight really breaks out. Otherwise, Gnar and Hecarim will just destroy your backline, and Soren can sit safely behind with Freeze.
Martin Deficio Lunga. We may need to borrow a page out of Crepo's book, because Unlimited is playing Braum with Exhaust Smite. So we might be seeing a Chilling Smite, potentially, coming out of Unlimited, adding to the thematic of that Freljord Frozen Braum.
So Smite Braum here, it basically means you can take your camp at level 1 a lot faster and get back and not even lose a single minion. Oh, that's the perfect situation. So you get a very fast level 2 ahead of the enemy team. And you can also use it to set up your skill shot now, your Q. So when they're hiding behind a minion, you smite it as you fire your skill shot. Minion obviously dies, and you actually land your Q onto them, get the first stack of your passive, and then Freeze can go aggressive, proc it, get the stun. It does mean, however, Unlimited is actually running without a flash. So he's going to rely on Freeze being able to use his ulti to pull him in if he's being caught a little bit out of too far forward. Yeah.
We'll see if the teamwork between Freeze and Unlimited works out. I'm giving a Bluetooth high five to Crepo on the analyst desk. He told me about the new Smite as soon as he got to the studio a few days ago. He even said it on air yesterday. And we'll see whether or not Unlimited can actually make this work. We do see Freeze and Unlimited.
And they got the minion, yeah. So they got every single minion in terms of XP here. Will be able to last it. You should get a very early level 2 and go aggressive onto Rydal and Adri here with the Graves and the Thresh. Rydal shouldn't be staying this far forward here and trying to trade. He knows Unlimited will hit level 2.
Well, Rydal's going to take a lot of damage. Unlimited playing very aggressively in the lane. And that's a good start for Freeze and Unlimited, especially because of that risky Exhaust Smite lane for Unlimited.
Yeah. There is a few downsides, of course. So see what Wurlip can do up here once again. He's been starting a camp at level 1, then teleporting, or actually running all the way to the top lane, because he just did the Merc Wolves and not the Raptors this time. But again, with the Smite, once you go back, you want to have enough gold to buy your Stalker's Blade, and it doesn't really give you any combat stats, other than you just get the damage from the Chilling Smite and the slow, of course, but you are fairly squishy, somewhat weak if your Smite is on cooldown as well, which of course is one of the downsides.
Are you calling Braum squishy? Maybe that's why it works in this champion. We'll see how it works out for him.
We'll have to wait and see.
But no, you are 100% correct. It is the potential if he gets caught by too many hooks. A lot of pressure again on Unlimited's Braum. He's going to have that unbreakable shield to block some of the damage. But as it stands, Freeze Unlimited just farming their way up. Warlip's going to jump onto Youngbuck, counter-strike him up. And they just keep trading back and forth for the time being. But a decent enough start on this Jax.
And this really is the main champion for Warlip in this top lane. He loves to play Jax. And he's actually very good at taking these early trades, making sure he always stays fairly safe while getting enough farm on the Jax. And of course, yesterday, beat out Renekton from Mimer once again. Frederick looking towards the top lane, looking towards the Jax. Copenhagen Wolves needs to expect this. Youngbuck places the ward, might be forced to flash.
And he does. So flashes the counter-strike, Summoner Spell blown. Successful gang from Frederick, just showing himself. And Youngbuck a tad unlucky. That ward came down.
Frederick should just go over the Dragon Pit here, or the Baron Pit, sorry, and just straight up towards Youngbuck again, because he's actually staying very far forward. Of course, Airwax did show himself now. Pepinero joining in. They know there's a ward, and Youngbuck, oh, he might be a dead Yordle.
Let's see Frederick and Pepinero coming in. Youngbuck, he knew they
good.
were around. This is going to be a dead Youngbuck. First blood will be secured by Giants.
So you get ganked, you flash, and you keep pushing your lane, you keep staying forward near the Jax. I mean, you have to expect them to come back. Let's see here. Pepinero on a face check. Airwax and Soren can join in.
Oh, if the stun lands, Pepe's going to be in trouble, but he manages to flash it. When you see the Arcana Pulse putting some damage down. But listen. I know what Youngbuck and Copenhagen Wolves are doing. I heard Unlimited yesterday. It was part of the plan. We know Giants are going to focus top. They're just going to let Jax get fed, and then they can win late game, right? It's what they did yesterday. It was the plan. We heard it.
It was. It worked. I mean, the late game team fights, they did manage to win, and obviously yesterday was against a Scion who got extremely tanky. Jax a little bit different to deal with. Let's see, teleport in the bottom lane.
He's gone down. Let's see if Warlip can help out. Unlimited and Freeze are going aggressive. It's now 2-on-1. Exhaust comes down. That's a double counter strike.
He's all alone though.
Still 2-on-1. If a stun connects, Warlip's in trouble. He gets caught up by concussive blows. Rydell comes in with 100 HP. He manages to play in. He's gone in with a death sentence. Why did you do that? Audrey gets baited and forced to flash, and Copenhagen Wolves get a kill. A teleport from Warlip and a flash from Audrey.
But this combo here, Braum and Kalista together, and when you land that stun and you just build up all the rend stacks, you have so much burst damage. People don't expect it here. And that was a 1v2 from Warlip once he came in there, jumping while his own bottom lane had already backed away. And in the end, teleport used, Summoner Spells burned as well, and you give over a kill to Freeze.
So the question we have to ask ourselves, was Youngbuck sticking around in the top lane a bigger mistake than Warlip teleporting to a very low duo? I mean, I anticipate he was teleporting during the fight, so I can't say too much. Oh, Airwax is in trouble. Pepe's going to spur rush over. That's a dead pony. Airwax trying to counter jungle and just gives up a kill to the Giants.
Some sloppy plays early on here between the Copenhagen Wolves and Giants. You can't really invade into the enemy jungle if your own mid lane is not pushing down the lane, so Pepinero could just freely walk in and pick up a kill for himself, sitting on 2-0 now on Ahri. And remember again, he is what we would call probably the main carry for Giants. Giving him these 2 kills early is not a smart idea, so not a good invade by Airwax here. You can't do it if you don't control the mid lane.
So let's see how Giants play. They've got a 500 goal lead. They've got a kill advantage. They've got an Ahri who's starting to get fed. 2-0. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Pepe to actually blow up Freeze or Soren in the mid to late game.
We have to remember, of course, with this double smite from Copenhagen Wolves, their objective control is in their favor if they have to smite over a Baron or a Dragon, or potentially want to invade on some buffs later on. Seeing as also smite stacks up to 2 stacks now, so you can use one of them in the fight and then, of course, save the other one for the objective after. But Unlimited actually not going for a Stalker's Blade on the Braum. Instead of just going tank early, wants to get that Sightstone very early. So not going to go for the Chilling Smite just yet, at least.
We'll see how quickly he can get his hands on that item. That's a level 6 freeze. Rydell is in trouble. One more hit will stun him. Concussive blows hold him in place. Look at those Ren stacks. Not enough for the kill yet, but we do see the Fate's call to call Unlimited to safety. Rydell survives by the skin of his teeth. Freeze and Unlimited in control of the lane. If Unlimited had that Chilling Smite, maybe, it could have worked out. And you know what? If any team's going to run double smite, trust the team that has the Wolf Camp in their name to run it. But it hasn't shown exactly worth yet.
Just got a little nice poke from Crepo actually backstage, and he has a very valid point. The rent from freeze will be the slowed in here, but let's get to that after Youngbuck is dead.
All right, let's go back to story time from Crepo. Oh, yeah. Flash!
So
Frederick, whoa, that was close. That was so close, but Frederick gets out alive. Copenhagen Wolves double smites, gonna start themselves off on a dragon. Nobody from Giants will reply, so this should be the first objective.
So the combo here between them,
Graves,
because Freeze has to slow himself from his E there, you don't actually need the Chilling Smite, but Dragon going over to the Copenhagen Wolves again with the double smite. Yes, point is, there's a slow from Freeze, from his Ren, so you don't actually need Chilling Smite from the Braum itself, which is the reason for him not going it.
Why smite? Why smite? Maybe it's a misclick. Maybe it wasn't intended.
No, again, it gives you the objective control, allows you to go for more aggressive trades where you can land your Q, so Freeze can start going aggressive, proc the stun, and of course, for the jungle camp at level 1 here to get the early advantage. So it still makes sense for Unlimited to run it when obviously Crepo with their played it before quite a lot on his stream, so he knows what he's talking about.
We'll see whether or not it pays off in a win or whether it's just
Hurricane Kalista as well.
That's what I was just about to say. We've even got, so you've got Unlimited, let's say borrowing from Crepo's stream, and you've got Freeze borrowing from Sneaky stream. Unlimited going the, Freeze rather, going the Hurricane into potential Bloodthirster, get all those Ren stacks down on multiple targets and just shred through
That's the important thing, yeah. Whenever you auto attack here, the 2 extra attacks coming from Hurricane also applies the debuff so you can have Ren on them. And it's so strong in the mid game if you're just allowed to sit in these fights here and just constantly auto attack. But you can still be locked down. That is the thing about
Pepe's got support.
Pepe's going in Soren.
Doesn't land the charm, continues chasing with Spur Rush. Soren's taking a lot of damage, but here comes the Power Pony. And Airwax's presence is going to force Pepe to take the Lantern. And Giants, they're playing aggressive. Giants are the ones making the moves, forcing Copenhagen Wolves to react. Youngbuck gets jumped on, Counter-Strike running. Werlib has got damage down. Double Dorans is burning through. Youngbuck forced to flash. Werlib is thinking about it. He flashes, he leaps, he scores!
Just like yesterday.
Werlib gets the kill. Youngbuck, it's the feed to win strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, Darian 2.0.
Giants are basically playing the exact same way they did yesterday here. You camp for Werlib in the start, you get a few kills, he will now handle everything on his own. I mean, Airwax walks up, smacked in the face by a Werlib, and now he's backing away. And obviously Peponero just able to roam around from this mid lane, getting a kill here and there.
Oh, Frederick is about to find Airwax. He's got Assault and Battery available. He's charging, he goes in. Airwax, you're going to get caught! Frederick with the timing! Oh, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You can't get feared when you're a Vi chasing down. Oh, Giants, this is so much fun. This is great plays from them. And this double smite strat's not working out.
Well, just wait and see. They're winning the laning phase on their side here. Freeze will get his Hurricane fairly soon as well. A lot of attack speed from it.
Let's be fair. Freeze and Unlimited are winning the laning phase, but Pepe's in a good spot. He's going to Spur Rush to safety. Pepe 2-0. Vi 2-0 being played by Frederick. Werlib 1-0-2 and got the top tower. Fed Jaxes are so difficult to deal with, and Copenhagen Wolves
are done yet.
In trouble. Oh, are we going to have another one? Youngbuck does not have Mega Gnar. Here comes the charge. No stun this time round.
Jumps away here, but once again, Giants, as soon as they get the lead on the top side, they just keep invading into your jungle, keep trying to force team fights here. Peponero as well. Decided to go Morel Nomicon, not actually DFG for his first items, but getting a few early kills. Could just go for either Death Cap here or a very, very early Void Staff to hit such an early and cheap power spike for him that he once again also can just blow up targets.
Oh, Unlimited gets caught.
Don't really want to go for that one.
Rydell doesn't want the take. You can see the ghosts from Freeze flying in the background. Those 2 Sentinels from a W.
You don't want to trade at the moment here. Adre is only sitting on a pickaxe himself, and Freeze with all this attack speed already here allows him to get so many Ren stacks very, very early on, and he's of course maxing his E if people are wondering how to play this Kalista. or Hurricane Kalista in the laning phase.
Again, it makes sense with the itemization. Gets multiple stacks of
Of course,
rend.
that's the whole point about it. Late game though, when we go into like the 5-6 items, you will be selling your Hurricane and you want to get something like a Phantom Dancer instead, because then it's going to be more about like the single target damage you can do, and you won't really be allowed to just sit and land multiple hits with your Hurricane onto the enemy team.
We'll see if Freeze can get to that point. Still only sitting on that recurve bow. Frederick dashed himself over the wall, charging up the Vault Breaker. Does have Assault and Battery available. Frederick's been around the map very, efficiently, in contrast to Airwax, who we've not seen a whole lot of. He's been invaded upon though, so been trying to play a little bit of catch up.
Yeah, and the problem is he's not even
I think Soren's
ahead in farms. Yeah, Soren, he's 4 versus 1. He is a great Dane, however. He'll be able to survive it.
Oh, that's it, right? Big damage allows you to survive 4v1s. Let's see if Frederick decides to go in. Flashes up, Vault Breaker's up, Assault and Battery's up. What resources are going to use to kill Zerat?
Okay, maybe not.
That's a dead Zerat. Absolutely destroyed. And Giants are going to secure the second tower of the game. Easy peasy pudding and pie.
This jungle matchup is so heavily in favor of Frederick. He's just making plays left and right. Airwax is just farming. Has 0 pressure in the early game.
Oh!
Unlimited.
Look at that damage.
Has the shield though, has the shield.
Does manage to survive. Giants are not giving up the pressure. Continue to putting damage down. They're going to get another turret. And they grow their gold lead even more. Copenhagen Wolves have to pull another comeback win if they want to stand a chance, because they're falling very far behind in champions you do not want to fall behind on.
Move up as well. Over to Giants. Trying to disengage here. Let's see. Airwax going in and dying.
Death sentence. Dead. That's it.
And the crowd is not happy.
Well, why not? That was an exciting kill.
Yeah, but you don't want Airwax dying, at least on the pony.
Well, Airwax has
Everyone loves the unicorns, remember.
Airwax has got himself a Brutalizer and a Stalker's Blade. There's nothing else to say survivability. The Giants should get themselves an uncontested
Again,
dragon.
he's just so far behind. You want to get the Warrior Enchant on Hecarim and then just go full tank from there. You can't really go 24s in the jungle unless you get so far ahead in the early game, which of course he didn't this time around. So he will have to go full tank after completing his Warrior Enchant. But yeah, he's going to be very squishy for the next 10 minutes. And when there's a Vi and an Ahri walking around with all the ward control as well, and not really any team fights appearing very soon, they should be able to constantly pick you off.
Well, Giants have got
Pepanero going for it again.
all the champions to make it work. He's got that Morellonomicon, got
Sneaking
the block.
around, it's fireworks.
Can he blow Airwax up? Without DFG, 100-0, we'll see if he sticks. Copenhagen Wolves get their first tower of the game. Down in the bottom, that'll close the gold just a little and give Freeze some much needed gold.
So again, Freeze has his Hurricane completed now, but in order for that to work, he needs a front line that can actually stay alive and buy him time to hit with the Hurricane and get the rend on 3 targets. Otherwise, it won't really do a whole lot for him. So unless Youngbug and Airwax suddenly can come back in this game here and actually become useful, then Giants Gaming Boots should just be able to roll over Copenhagen Wolves in a potential team fight if it happens.
All credit to Youngbuck. Despite 3 deaths to his name, he is only 8 or so CS behind with a wave pushing into him. You do also see that Freeze has got a 20 to 30 CS advantage. And Soren also, with a dive on his lane, staying relevant in CS. Youngbuck playing much further back this time around. So from a CS perspective, Copenhagen Wolves are doing okay, but they've just given up too many towers. Frederick, I think he's going to go in. He's charging the Vault Breaker. There he goes. Assault and Battery slams Youngbuck down. Youngbuck flashes away from the stun and gets some decent damage down, but Flash was burned, and he does get out clean.
Yeah, so just need ulti ready once again for Frederick here. Not a lot of deep wards coming in from Giants. It's just one ward around the red buff, so it's not like they have full control of the jungle. You can actually see where Airwax is moving around. Instead, the Copenhagen Wolves have put up a few defensive pink wards. Much needed, seeing as Pepanero and Frederick are using more time in Copenhagen Wolves jungle than in their own lanes.
We'll see how well Copenhagen Wolves can control the next few minutes. They've lost 2 turrets in the mid lane,
Look at
out
that
to
push
in the top lane.
Boom.
And Freeze is just going to keep shoving those waves all day long. For Giants, if they're not going to be looking for picks in the jungle, you have to anticipate they're going to push that bottom outer turret down. Because as you highlighted in picks and bans, Deficio, it's all about the flank for Giants. And with those outer turrets up, it makes life a little more difficult to move around the lanes and the jungle on the side of the Wolves.
So in a standard situation, it will be about the flank, but seeing as every member from Copenhagen Wolves are so squishy due to the tanks falling so far behind, Pepinero can just choose whatever target he wants to and just blow them up together with one other guy from Giants, and that should do it for them. But they have to care about Freeze, of course. Don't just let him do whatever he wants. And yeah, that was 2 abilities from Pepinero.
That really hurt. Charm and Orb. Soren loses 70% of his hit points. Deathcap, Morellonomicon. So not your standard Ahri build, but when you got 160 CS, 2 kills, 2 assists, and 3 towers, in a pretty comfortable position. Peppy stepping up on the LCS stage. I think he's performing, you know, at a higher level here than he did during the expansion tournament.
Yeah.
And, you know, kudos to the guy for really sort of silencing some of the critics, myself included.
So we've seen him yesterday against Blizzard. Obviously a matchup we expected him to win.
Yep. With
Blizzard just coming in from solo queue. And Zoran today, not been the top tier mid laners, safe to say, that Pepinero has faced early on. But still been doing a very good job, and he's so aggressive. Whenever he gets a lead in the laning phase, he starts roaming around. He doesn't just sit there and farm. He goes to the top and he goes into the jungle. He looks for kills constantly. And now he's down towards his bottom lane, waiting for a piece of freeze to move near the tower.
Let's see if anyone from the Wolves goes down to the bottom lane.
On their way.
Limited and freeze making their way
haven't seen
down.
them in a long time, guys. Just play it safe. Don't walk down there. It's all a trap.
Admiral Akbar trying to say it's a trap, but they wisely do not go down. So credit to Freeze Unlimited. They do smell something fishy. Giants have got great vision around the dragon and deep into the Wolves territory, setting themselves up for this next objective to respawn, and they're going to steal away this blue buff in just a moment.
Yeah, and this BT here Freeze is building towards is going to be very important because he needs the lifesteal, he needs the shield as well when he's dancing around in there trying to apply all his rend stacks. So he will be needing that as soon as he can actually complete it. And once again, the bottom lane for Copenhagen Wolves, the only lane actually doing well early on in the game, was the same yesterday. It's going to be all about them trying to pull this one through. Soren did step it up in terms of team fights later, but...
As did Youngbuck, to be fair.
True.
Youngbuck really had a struggle early on and managed to bring himself back into the game mid to late. And then, of course, on the side of Freeze, he is the single change to the Copenhagen Wolves roster. That seems to be working out thus far. Now, we haven't seen much from Jax. He's got that Trinity Force completed, and Copenhagen
a lot of people top lane though.
Going to try and gank him. Willip gets knocked backwards. He's going to get that armor and MR, and truthfully, this is going to be a dead top laner, or not.
Whoa, is
he
it?
leaps to a wall.
Pepinero rifle here.
Now the Giants are going to turn it back around, and Limited has going to be able to throw that ultimate down. Let's see what can happen. We do see Braum going forward. That's the Glacial Fisher down on the ground. Fi's going to re-engage. Youngbuck is in trouble. Throws everybody backwards. Rydell, Flash, Flay, death sentence, and they kill Youngbuck. Everybody involved, but only the single kill. Frederick stunned up is going to prevent the assault and battery, but the Giants turn around what was a 4-on-1 and find themselves securing the 4th kill onto Youngbuck.
Just shows how far ahead they are here. As soon as Pepinero came in, Freeze actually had to save Unlimited, pull him in the ulti here, tried to re-engage. Pepinero catching Freeze.
Oh, let's see what they can make of this. Frederick has still got his assault and battery available and Limited the next target. We do see the spell coming down from Soren, but it's just not enough damage. The Giants are going to be able to take the tower down. They get themselves more gold, a bigger lead, and the gambit from Copenhagen Wolves has not paid off.
No, and don't go Thornmail if you are this far behind. You need just flat HP here to try and survive whatever mixed damage coming from Giants. Flash Charm onto Freeze, beautiful setup by Pepinero, and Freeze can't really do anything once he has used his Flash to get away, and the rest of Copenhagen Wolves, of course, not even nearby to do anything. And Giants, once again, just like yesterday, once they get the lead, they just keep playing aggressive, they keep forcing picks and fights. They don't just let you sit and farm like H2K did yesterday against the Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, very, very well played from the Giants. They're accelerating further ahead, 22 minutes in, 10 kills to 1, 5 towers to 1. They've got themselves a 7,000 gold lead. If you look at those items, it's going to mean that Copenhagen Wolves are in a desperate
double
place.
smite here. Copenhagen Wolves starting the Baron. You have also the rend damage from Freeze. Remember, he can stack up to an insane amount of damage from him. And again, Airwax and Unlimited should be able to time the two smites together, but Whirlip is here.
Well, let's see what Whirlip can do. There's members of Copenhagen Wolves all going low. Baron has been secured by the Copenhagen Wolves, but what damage can Whirlip do?
They lost it.
2, that's 3. Whirlip's going to get out alive.
No,
he's not. He's shut down. Triple kill picked up. Soren forced a flash, but he's got no mana remaining. Frederick should be able to run him down with that assault and battery. 3 members of the Wolves have lost that Baron buff. Only Youngbuck has escaped, and I don't think Soren's going to be able to get away. He does have an empowered recall. If he can find a few seconds of peace, maybe, but I might just be too optimistic. Rydell's running him down.
It's going to be a one-on-one here
with
between
those
Soren and
boots.
Rydell.
Rydell's going to get stunned. Let's see. Empowered recall? No.
No, just died to the tower here.
Do the recall. Oh, going to take damage. Won't be able to. Won't be able to. So Soren going to suicide. So only Youngbuck gets the Baron. Desperate play, Whirlip, another triple kill. Jax OP.
Let's just see it again here. So Copenhagen, they started with the double smite with Kalista and her Rend here, so they actually get the Baron. The problem is Whirlip is here. He's so strong again. They've dropped low from the Baron. Cleaning it up. 1v3, 1v4 actually. And then sadly in the very end, he couldn't dance. And boop.
You know what? I don't think he's going to mind. 6-1-3, Trinity Force completed, got the Cutlass. He does manage to take out so many of those Baron buffs from the Wolves, which really could have given them the tools to stall, but Youngbuck with teleport unavailable, going to be hard-pressed to find a time where he can actually split push or try to get some map control.
Oh, no, that won't happen. No. I mean, the Wolves at the moment, I don't know, they basically have to try and just sit in a bush somewhere and hope Giants are playing a bit too aggressive. Maybe Pepanero face checks to kill him and buy a little bit of time.
Wow.
Because
Airwax is terrified.
Yeah, well, you have to be. All game long. It's not been his jungle since like minute 5.
That means he's really struggling. 0-4-1. Youngbuck is doing the best he can to defend this inner turret. Does go Mega Gnar. Frederick's waiting in the sidelines. The rest of Giants grouped up. But look at that gold. 6K at the moment. 25 minutes on the clock. This is the 3rd consecutive blue buff steal that Giants have put on the map. And this is exactly what you were talking about, Deficio. Jungle completely under Giants' control. There is simply nothing the Wolves can do at this point in time. Frederick, he's going all the way in. Soren's in trouble. Collateral damage comes down from the sidelines. First victim of the fight. Who will it be? Right to the Arcane gets channeled. 1, 2, 3rd one does secure. We do see Freeze picking up a kill as well. That Bloodthirster and Ren stacks is going to be enough. So Copenhagen Wolves, they hold on to fight another day.
Yeah, much needed a win here for Copenhagen Wolves. Giants is diving under the tower here. A little bit uncoordinated for them. And the Copenhagen Wolves can punish him and buy some time. Won't be able to get a tower here because Whirlip has his teleport ready. And will clear off the minions. But still, the Giants, they are so far ahead. They can keep doing what they've been doing so far. Just avoid their little bit uncoordinated dive and you should still be fine.
Yeah, weren't really able to blow Soren up or get to freeze. So Giants get put on hold just for a brief moment. Copenhagen Wolves going to start wondering, can they do it again? Can they pull it back 2 days in a row? This is a much more difficult task to accomplish. But Copenhagen Wolves are going to try nonetheless. So take a look at those items. Quicksilver Sash completed by Freeze. I think that's a very big pickup, especially if he gets hit by that straight charm. Airwax still unable to pick up any big items. And Youngbuck working towards some tankiness. We did eventually see Unlimited pick up the Stalker's Blade, so he's got that Chilling Smite available.
Yeah, has it now here just for a bit more peel for Freeze and potential chase coming in from Copenhagen Wolves in the fights. But still here. I do feel like, again, Youngbuck with his item choices, I don't see why you go Thorn Maid. If you are very far behind, I mean, try and get a Warmox completed. Build like a bit of magic resist, a bit of armor, and then later on see if you can complete like a Banshee and a Randuin's Omen and just be full tank and at least have enough HP to survive some burst damage, because again, Pepanero is just going to blow him up.
Well, let's see what Pepe can do. He's got that needlessly large rod, working towards most likely the DFG. A little while away from completing that, but the Giants have now hit a little bit of a stumbling block. They interrupted that Baron attempt earlier. They tower dove the inner bottom turret, and now for the Giants with this team comp that, you know, was sort of designed to flank but got so far ahead it's not important anymore. Now they're looking for opportunities. They're looking for ways to crack the Copenhagen Wolves defense. And this is where we need to figure out how do they make use of vision and what objectives will it be around.
Yeah, so because Copenhagen Wolves actually got an early dragon in this game here, it's not like Giants are looking towards this 5th dragon just yet. That's quite a while, at least 15, 16 minutes before we can even start thinking about that one. And at the same time, for the Copenhagen Wolves, they have picked up a few key items. Void Staff completed for Zoran, going for the poor man's build on this Zeraphir, just trying to get a power spike before having to get enough gold for like a Death Cap or an Hourglass in his situation. So I like the second item, Void Staff. And of course Freeze with the BT Hurricane, getting QSS as well. He knows he has to dance around, and there's a high chance of him being locked down by Giants, so QSS will come in very handy for him.
Well, to be fair, the longer this goes, the happier the Wolves are going to be. Randuin's is getting closer for Young Bucks. Spirit Visage is getting closer for Airwax. Needlessly Large Rod was just picked up by Soren, so even Death Cap is on the way. So it's small things. They are competing with Blade of the Rune King now from Jax. You've obviously got the Phantom Dancer and Eye-Edge sitting in Audrey's pocket with 1,000 gold, and they're about to get their 3rd dragon. Yeah. But Wolves, they need time. They need to keep stalling.
Giants right now should just get this dragon, wait for the Baron to spawn, pick it up, or at least force the Wolves into a fight around it, and then just do like a 1-3-1 split push. Have Audrey sitting in the mid lane. Of course, the Jax, who can just 1v2 everything, especially with the Baron buff, go in one lane. And Pepinero can do the exact same on Ari in the opposite lane, and you just push every single lane up. You have the buffed up minions from the Baron, and that should be too much for the Copenhagen Wolves to actually defend against, especially because someone like Youngblood has no chance against Whirly, who can just walk in and start hitting the tower if he wants to.
So 1-3-1 off the Baron. That's the recommendation for Deficio. It is up in 30 seconds time. Giants have got some vision in the area. It looks like Rydell, Audrey, and Frederick are moving around to potentially ward up. It does seem to be the case. Look at the deep vision in the side of the Copenhagen Wolves jungle. Again, another buff is stolen. Airwax has not had a blue or red in the longest time, 20, 25 minutes, potentially. And we do have a very brief pause.
And Youngblood now managed to complete his Randuin, so he's getting there. I mean, Randuins and Thornmail in a one-on-one against the Jax could be very useful for him, of course. Also, what he had built towards just pure one-on-one the Jax, nothing else, nothing focused on teamfights from him with that early Thornmail here. And Randuins, of course, with Ninja Tapi. Freeze, on this Kalista, been very hard for him to do anything.
Yeah. It's not convinced me yet, but on the same token,
you can't really use this game as the example.
Yeah, the Wolves fell so far behind. The laning phase of Kalista Brown did work out. It did go well, and they pushed Audrey and Rydell quite far down. But in the team of Giants, Audrey and Rydell are sort of the weaker hinges. It is normally about the solo lanes in the jungle. And on the side of Copenhagen Wolves, it's about their duo lane, and their solo lane is a little weaker. So you've got this sort of, opposite when you look at these two teams. Also, I just noticed in the items, before we flicked away, their Juggernaut upgrade secured 4 unlimited Braum. Spirit Visage completed for Airwax.
It's a pretty good upgrade. Very gold efficient, actually, with the 500 HP you get from it for the Braum. But you just talked about how solo laners stronger for Giants. Of course, the bottom lane for Copenhagen Wolves were winning in this game as well. Won yesterday in the laning phase 2, Unlimited and Freeze. And that's where I didn't look at the jungle, where Frederick has just been miles ahead of Airwax. And that's why he's been able to once again snowball his top laner here and open up for Pepinero as well, because he's doing a good job in the one-on-one to roam around together with Frederick. And I'm still a little bit surprised the ganks worked early, because we had the ward coming down from Youngblood in the top lane. He saw the first gank, he flashed away, and then he stayed around, knowing Frederick most likely would still be there. Obviously, Pepinero roamed up as well. And that was the first kill. Second gank came in, and suddenly it was just too late for him, and Jax were fed again.
Too little, too late on the side of Youngbuck. 0-4-2. Finally getting a little tankier, but let's see what can happen. Now, red turret destroyed, so down in the bottom lane, Wallet was able to secure that objective without even needing the Baron buff. But it does seem to be the focus for Giants. So Deficio looks like that's their objective.
And look what they just did here. Frederick walked up to the top lane and just cleared the way for you to start pushing the minions down so they can take the Baron. And instantly after, they can quickly rotate to the top lane, buff up all those minions while Whirly, of course, sits in the bottom side and just pushing those two lanes together. Audrey doing exactly the same in the mid lane here, so opening up a lot of options for Giants once they secure this Baron.
Well, let's see how controlled they can be of those lanes. Another blue buff stolen away. If my count is correct, that's 4 in a row. Giants starts the Baron off. Copenhagen Wolves are looking to group. Look at Pepe setting himself up for a potential charm. Frederick is peeled away. It's always going to have that incredibly hard engage that Vi offers. Let's just see how quickly the rest of Giants can stick with him. Copenhagen Wolves have done enough to back away and also interrupt that Baron buff.
Yeah, and all this armor stacking has meant that Whirlip can just dive on to Youngbuck. So he's actually able to hold him here. For now, at least. Whirlip doesn't want to push her up too far. Airwax might be in trouble though, and Giants are looking to fight.
So stun does connect on Whirlip. Pepineros has used that Spirit Rush. That's a lot of damage coming down from Thorin. Onslaught of Shadows is still available. Let's see if it gets used. Airwax is in full retreat, and Fate's Call used to save Unlimited's life. Unlimited, you've gone the wrong direction, my friend, and he's forced to walk away, but nobody goes down. Ultimates traded on both sides of the fence, but nobody gets taken out, and very importantly, Baron's still available.
Still available here. Giants pushed them away. Let's see how many ults we actually used. 3 on the side of Giants. Should be ready next time they actually go back to this Baron and try and do exactly the same again. And Airwax, if he tries to go in first, we just saw how fast he drops. Forced to just run away instantly, and of course Unlimited being pulled back by Freeze to save him as well.
Now we understand why Flash wasn't taken. Seen it a few times from Freeze, but Unlimited hasn't really had the initiation that maybe they would have liked, but again, they are very, very far down in gold, so it does sort of pay out. We're finally seeing a little more damage on Freeze. Got that pickaxe. Wants to get himself towards the last Whisper, which has just been completed for Audrey. So quite a big damage disparity between the two champions. Freeze still looking really to get as many Rend stacks as possible. And Soren finished that dead cap. We saw how much damage Soren actually put down in the previous fight. So if he can land a few spells...
Yeah, he's been farming well in the mid lane here. Picked up 2 kills as well for himself. He's actually been doing a fairly good job on his Xerath. Sitting there with the long-range poke, but it's just such a problem for him, because you don't have the control of the map. So you know Giants can always flank around you, and Xerath is a very, very easy target to lock down.
Yep, we saw that in the mid lane earlier in the matchup. Giants maintain vision control around the Baron buff. We're getting closer to Dragon respawning as well, so...
They're very passive warding though around this Baron here, so if they actually want to start it and try and punish Copenhagen Wolves for running through the jungle, then they have to move in, clear these 2 pink wards here by the Wolves and place their own aggressive wards to seal the Wolves moving towards the Baron here. Otherwise, it's too easy for Copenhagen Wolves to just go in, reward the Baron, back away, and constantly delay it.
So this is exactly what we saw from Giants yesterday. They did have the lead. They played it a little more passively than maybe they could have, but at least their heads are in the right place. They realize that Baron is the objective that secures them the map control, which then secures the win. The only problem is they don't have the vision to allow themselves. Look at the minions, top and bottom wave. That could be the pressure they require to go in on this objective. But Unlimited gets another ward and realizes Baron's still not for the take.
We might actually have to look towards that 5th dragon anyway. Spawning in about a minute, and Giants at the moment haven't been able to really get on this Baron. They're starting it now because Freeze shows himself in the top lane, meaning Copenhagen Wolves are not in a position to fight just yet, and this one goes down fast.
So we'll see if they can secure it. All 3 shots of Passage of the Arcane comes out. Glacial Fissure goes down. Baron secured. It doesn't work out, and that was actually all too easy for Giants.
Yeah. But credit to Giants here, once again, they've set up the soul or the side lanes to start slow pushing, building up a big wave which can deal a lot of damage to the towers unless you go up and clear it. And that's why Freeze felt like he had to walk up there, clear the minions. Airwax on the other hand was then sitting on the Merc Wolves, a little bit weird for him, but Copenhagen was not in position. Giants once again with the minion waves pushing up, able to get an objective and join in with the Baron buff now.
So Jax is up in that top lane, the rest of the team is grouped in the bottom. They've got that Baron buff for a few minutes. You can see those empowered minions rushing their way to the inhib turret. Only turrets remaining in the base for the Copenhagen Wolves.
Dragon as well.
Going to be Dragon number 4, uncontested yet. Giants really just in absolute control. With Baron buff and 1 Dragon away from that Mega buff, there's very little that the Wolves can do. However, for the first time in about 30 minutes, they should get themselves at least a red buff.
Straight over to Freeze, who got his last Whisper now. So both him and Soren slowly getting towards their late game. But
surely it's too little too late.
It's not like you look at Giants come and say, oh, they're terrible late game. No, I mean, you have a Jax. You have the Graves coming in. Ari as well. if she gets the flank, she can blow up a target in the late game. So it's not like Giants are looking terrible going into this late game, and they are so far ahead in terms of the global buffs they've been able to pick up. And in 6 minutes, in case they don't want to take any chances, they should be able to pick up the last dragon and then basically do what SK did in the last game and go for the last push.
Dragon to win in a couple of minutes. The one thing I do want to highlight, though, is this is the second game that we've seen from the Giants where Rydell has gone for a Thresh, first pick Thresh, no less. And it's not really been game-changing. I mean, lost lane with that Thresh Graves against a fairly unique Brown Kalista combo. But on the same token, you know, we haven't really seen him landing death sentences in the mid-game. He hasn't needed to. But it's something that we should keep an eye on in this game and future games. It's whether or not Giants continue that emphasis. Anyways, they've got minions up in the top lane. Wave should be cleared here by Sora and Xerath relatively effectively.
Yeah.
Giants not deciding to dive just yet.
You don't have the best siege option with a Graves and an Ahri here. So, oh, let's see what Zoran can do.
Oh, one, two,
ulti.
Third one.
Oh.
Not going to hit.
But Giants at the moment shouldn't be grouping up, trying to push down a tower. Use your Jax to split push. Again, there's 1-3-1 here. And just push in every single lane. Bottom lane should be building up. Actually, it is pushing in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves, so they need to go down and push that one in.
So Baron buff's not a huge amount of time left, actually. And we'll see what Giants decide to do. They actually remaining grouped up. They're not going for that split. That could work for them. Instead, they're going to try brute force their way in. Frederick has gone deep. He's
going
found
straight
his
for
way
the
into
dive.
Soren. We do see Airwax throwing himself into the team, but that's Soren and freeze down.
Well, that
There's
works
no
too.
damage left for the Copenhagen Wolves. Young Buck forced into retreat. He throws down the Gnar in reverse, but it doesn't matter. Werlib grabs himself the triple kill, closed out by Peppy, despite the fact that Werlib is shut down. Giants are going to get the inhibitor. They're going to get an exposed amount of time on the Nexus, and this should be their game. 2-0 in week 1.
And Giants realizing, yeah, we don't really want to siege this tower and just slowly take it down. Let's just dive. We are so far ahead. Instant lockdown. Soren killed him, finished up everything. Werlib on this Jax. Second game now where he gets a great start and he just completely snowballed the game.
Well, Giants opening week in the LCS is flawless. 2-0. Both one-sided victories.
Yeah, very one-sided.
If Giants are going to be proving themselves, they've done it. You start your way with the teams who have been down at the bottom half of the LCS tables. MYM, the old Super Hot crew, Copenhagen Wolves, both teams that have flirted with promotion tournaments in the lower echelons of 2014. Giants have bested them both, and fairly convincingly. It's a good start to their 2015.
Yeah, especially because they came in as just a second expansion tournament team. Obviously, H2K won the expansion tournament 3-0 against Giants Gaming. And now coming here, getting a great start. Copenhagen Wolves on MYM being defeated. But I have to see if they can keep it up for next week. I have a feeling that teams, or I really hope the teams realize now, when Jax is being logged in, Frederick is going to go top lane. Pepperonero is going to go top lane. Don't let him get those easy kills so he starts getting ahead, because then the rest of the team will just use it to completely take over the map and just constantly fight you.
Yeah, Giants really show that they've got vision control, they've got the decision-making, they play the map, they play the objectives. It's a little slow, but you know, it doesn't matter because it's their pace, it's their tempo, and they're in the lead. Now, these are against opponents who, again, are slightly lower down. We need to see how they perform against the slightly stronger teams, against the Fanatics, against
SK Gaming,
the Unicorns, against SK, for example. But you cannot take anything away from Giants. 2-0 on the week. And like you said, silencing some of the critics. They've started to show a higher level of teamwork than we were expecting. And well played.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of the two teams they played this week really punish them for
Yep.
first picking the Thresh or camping the top lane exclusively. Simply means Giants, I mean, it's looking good for them.